Hey YouTube, okay, I'm done installing the new headlamps. So this is the new one. Yeah, it looks brand spanking new on this Accord. These are the old ones. It's still foggy as hell. Like I said before, new, old. But the main thing to get off of this this project was that the first one's hard, but the second one took half the time. So this whole thing probably took me about an hour or so to take off the bumper, and then take off both lamps, and then readjust the lamps after installing it. A lot of it just took time just to play around at first, and just afraid of actually pulling the panels off. But after you pull the panels off, it gets easy. But it's a big difference in terms of clarity. That's this is a 2007, so this is about is it 9 years old? 10 years old? Yeah, 9 years old. 9-year-old car, and you have to be careful. The lessons learned on this install was that you want to definitely have your tools ready, your flathead screwdriver, and a really small flathead, because some of the light bulbs are really small for the things. You want a 10 millimeter wrench, because you have to get behind underneath this lamp. There's a bolt here that bolts onto the frame, and it's really hard to get to adjust. So you definitely need something small like that. You don't necessarily need it, but you could do it out of just one socket, a 10 millimeter socket, but it's really good to actually have this, so you could loosen and retighten individual ones to make adjustments, because you'll notice there's no gap. To do that, you have to basically wiggle this thing and tighten, and basically tighten around the headlight and make sure it's all even. Otherwise, some people report gaps on it, and the reason why is because there are a subframe that goes from here all the way down here, that sometimes if it's loose or it needs to be adjusted, and so you just have to massage it so that it actually goes right into place. There are 2 points here that goes through into the panel, and there's one that goes up here that you have to align, and keeping it all loose and slowly tightening each of them to get it so that it's just right and fits in, there won't be any gaps. But this is of course using a pretty good DOT compliant SAE, replacement headlight. I think the one I got was a TYC automotive lamp one for my Accord. Does it look exactly the same? Actually, it does. It looks very much the same. I can't really tell the difference if you just look at it. But this is the original. That's the new one. Need the tools, and definitely with such an old car, go to Amazon or somewhere and buy a bunch of these nylon, 10 millimeter nylon plugs. These are 9 or 10 millimeters. I don't remember which one, but let's take a look real fast. Come on, focus. Yeah, so I bought 40 of these 10 millimeter ones. I use it on my cars because, well, these things break. When going underneath the car to get to those, or even close to the ones where the radiator is, all that they get really hot and they get really brittle. So it's always good to have a bunch of these around. I bought probably 40 of these a few years ago, and I'm still using them. Every time I do an oil change or something, these things, occasionally 1 or 2 breaks. So it's always good to have a few of these. But that's about it, guys. It's a pretty good install, and I'm glad that the headlight worked. And it only cost me about $50 for the headlight, about an hour's of work to get this thing mounted and just installed and everything like that. But I'm glad it's over, because it took a good hour and a half to 2 hours to do this whole thing. It's mostly this fear of pulling this panel, the bumper off, and adjusting the panel, and worrying about things. The main thing is to get things done and start doing. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great one. Goodbye.